Welcome to the X Factor Safety Podcast. I'm your host, Pedro Maciel. This is the place where we dive into the tactics, techniques, and practices of everyday safety pros and various industry leaders, trying to dig deep and find out what their X Factor is. Welcome back, beautiful people. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about leading with compassion. How do we do it? What's the process? What's the definition of compassion? Compassion motivates people to go out of their way to help either somebody physically, mentally, or emotionally, and makes them understand the person's pain, where the person's pain's coming from. So, how do we translate that into leading with compassion in the safety realm? We do it all the time. We have to lead with compassion with everything that we do, because you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know what the other person, they could have just lost somebody, or they're getting a divorce, or they just found out some pretty bad news. So you should always lead with compassion. You got to connect with people. Got to be able to connect with people and understand what they're feeling. Now, granted, you're probably asking yourself, but we're on a construction site. Why do I need compassion on a construction site? Well, for that very reason, you're on a construction site. How many hazards or risks are out there that can get somebody hurt? And because you don't show them compassion, guess what? They get hurt. And then what happens? We got to jump into the analysis of why something happened and why somebody skipped a step. Well, because you didn't show them compassion. You didn't understand what they were going through. And they ended up getting pissed off and, skipped that step, that critical step that ended up getting them hurt. So effective leadership cannot prevail under negative circumstances. Period. It just can't. You being a leader in your trade, you being a leader in everything that you do, you will not succeed under negative circumstances. Because guess what? Your results are going to be negative. The attitude and the culture is going to be negative. So, with that being said, here are a couple of traits that I think go into a compassionate leader. Somebody that shows compassion, somebody that understands compassion, that gives compassion all the time. Learning. Number one, learning. You're going to have somebody out there that's going to be smarter than you, that's going to be able to give you some insight, some new tools or means and methods. And don't think you know it all, because you don't. There's always going to be somebody out there a little bit more intelligent than you. But guess what? When you're surrounded by those intelligent people that are showing compassion, you start showing compassion, and they show you a different side of things. They show you different ways to look at different obstacles, different hazards, different risks, different personal behaviors. So just simply put, leadership requires learning in order to grow. You have to learn. If you stop learning, you have plateaued, you have came to the final end of your leadership. Another trait, being able to remove barriers. Removing barriers is key in a team atmosphere for the greater good. You got to be able to help teammates and your team members work through their thoughts and encourage new patterns of thinking. And if you're just one track minded, got the blinders on, I've always done it this way, this is how I roll, then yeah, it's not going to work out. I hate to say it, it's not going to work out. You got to be able to take that role of helping members remove those external barriers that are, keeping them from succeeding. And that could even be, hey, why don't I give the safety talk today? Or, hey, why don't you, go take a break? I see that you're working really hard. Why don't you go take a break? That's showing compassion, knowing your individuals that are working for you, knowing the people that are there. So I'm going to leave you with this right here. This is part of the removing barriers, and just understand that when your team stops bringing you obstacles to overcome, your days as a leader are done. If your team can't come to you and say, hey, I have an obstacle that I cannot get past, I need your help, and you can no longer help them or try to remove that barrier, you're no longer a good leader. Nah, I wouldn't say no longer a good leader. Your leading has, again, come to a finite limitation. You've reached your limit. Another trait, and this one is very, very key in the safety world, in the leadership realm, up at the corporate level as well, impact. What type of impact are you having on your personnel? What type of impact are you having on their lives? I'm a firm believer of bringing value to somebody's life, bringing value to whoever I come across. So what are you doing to impact somebody's life? What type of impact are you having on your team? Are you living and leading with an attitude of abundance? Meaning you're willing to help, meaning you're willing to make that impact. You gotta look at what your team members need versus what they're not doing for you, versus what they're not doing right. So if you understand that, guess what? You start understanding the human behavior. You start understanding the organizational process behind why people do certain things and, how organizations work. And guess what? You make an impact on somebody's life. It is not rocket science. I promise you. You show a little compassion, and I was always told from, a youngster, treat people the way you want to be treated. Plain and simple. So when you go to your next safety meeting or your next business unit team meeting, ask somebody the question, how do you rate me as a leader? How do you see me as a leader? And if they give you the answer that, oh, you're compassionate, you're knowledgeable, you give insight, you help break down those barriers, you impact the team. Great job. But if they give you the total opposite of, you're asking them a real question, don't be surprised if they give you a real answer. And that's where that trying to rule with an iron fist, the leadership ruling with an iron fist, it just doesn't work. It doesn't. It's going to give you negative results. You're going to have a negative culture, a negative atmosphere, and it's not going to work. So if they come back and say, you're a good leader, and that's it, don't be fooled. They're telling you what you want to hear. So dive in, Get your boots on the ground. Get a little dirty if you have to. So that way, the people that you work with, the team members that you work with, the personnel that you're overseeing, know that you are compassionate, know that you care, know that you understand that you have to make an impact in their lives for them to be successful. You have to be able to show that to them. Because from a worker standpoint, they think that you sit behind a desk and you're some big wig that's going to come and tell them what to do if you're a safety professional. If you're, executive level, coming to the job site, doing your tours, your walks, your audits. They think that you're just coming there to get on to them. But if you show them a little bit of compassion, show them that you really do care about their well-being and, what they're actually doing, they're going to take you more seriously. They're going to engage that safety culture. They're going to go ahead and be the ones that change it for you. So, with that being said, I hope everybody is having a wonderful day. Continue to have a wonderful day. Be safe. And we will see you next time. Well, we're at the end of our show, and I hope we were able to bring you value. We want to thank you for tuning in as we strive to bring fresh and exciting new content to you every week. If you like the show, go ahead and subscribe, share, and leave us a review as it helps the show out. If you have a topic you want to discuss or be featured on the show, or if you know somebody that would like to be featured on the show, go ahead and send us an email to safetytrainer1215@gmail.com. Again, that's safetytrainer1215@gmail.com. Now, before we leave you, I want to ask you one question. What is your X factor?